All right, what is up, y'all? My name is Koani, former dating coach. Thank you for coming on this YouTube channel and this YouTube video. This was kind of spontaneous, to be honest with you. I didn't really plan on like filming this. I do plan on filming more content as time goes on. Really just talking about like deep philosophical subjects, things that can kind of help like younger men out in particular. To kind of give you a little context and background history about me. I was a men's dating coach for the last 8 to 10 years, on and off. I did a lot of social interactions, talked with a bunch of different people, throughout my entire life. I've always been kind of a person interested that gravitated towards just like understanding like human behavior, social dynamics, and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm posting videos right now is 2026 has been exceptionally wild in terms of like the state of mind for most people. I live in the Western society. I live in America. I grew up in Hawaii pretty much my whole life. And the one thing that I'm seeing basically, and I've always been the type of person to notice, patterns throughout my life, whether it be like human behavior, things that I'm, observing or looking for in nature. The craziest thing is that I feel like a lot of people are just mentally unstable in a way where, as an example, culture is just collapsing in real time in the Western world. People don't know who to trust anymore, because of the fact of like, even as an example, I was watching a YouTube video. There's a guy that I follow. He was talking about like how the internet has caused more depression, more anxiety, has caused a lot of people to feel more distrust, so much more degeneracy going on today in today's society because it gets rewarded by the public. And you see when you're living in this society, every single day, it makes you wonder like, is there any hope for millennials or like Gen Z or people of like a younger demographic to feel like, does my life matter? Is there any purpose to where I'm going in my direction? And like, as an example, the birth rate has declined significantly in the Western US. People are just way more unhappy, less fulfilled, have less, higher quality lives than their previous ancestors before them. People are just not in a good state of mood. So this is what these videos will be talking about, pretty much just my thoughts, my opinions on things that I've observed in nature in terms of just like interacting with people on a daily basis, things that I've compiled from many different books that I've read as well, that kind of drive the point home. In today's topic and video, I kind of just want to go over maybe the idea that like how everybody, like I said, in 2026, everything feels like it's cooked. Like, as an example, I've said this before in a conversation with a friend, but I feel like what ended up making us care less about having good quality values and, things that morals and all these other, things that kind of cohesively made our society function better is, one, the idea that when you go to school, you work hard, you work hard at school, you're promised a successful job, you go to college, you're promised all these different things for, sacrificing your time and energy to achieve those things, essentially. And then what ended up really happening is, like, you notice COVID as an example, a major turning point in a lot of people's minds. People, one, realize, hey, I don't necessarily need to go to work, and kind of allow people to kind of think for a minute, like, hey, what is going on in today's society? Or just like, observe, looking at their life from a third person perspective of like working 9 to 5, doing the same shit every single day. And it kind of just like gave some people a little bit more self-awareness of what's happening. The second thing I'll also say is like, people feel like they've been lied to their whole lives. And especially when you've seen stuff getting released, like the Epstein files as an example. These are people in the Western world we've voted for. Our tax dollars get towards that government. All these other things, these factors where we sacrifice our time and energy, and you see these people that we try to put our trust into, use that power and abuse it, and the average decent person is just getting fucking is just getting fucked over by everything else, and you see these people in power and they're manipulative, they're evil, there's nothing healthy about them, there's nothing good or positive. You see them like fucking little kids at an island, right, as an example, and then they have tons of money, billions and billions of dollars. You start to wonder, like, okay, the behaviors that I'm doing are not rewarding me or allowing me what I was promised, essentially, coming up here in the American dream. And when people feel distraught, or people feel like the have and have-nots and the gap is wide enough, of course people are going to get pissed. They're gonna start getting angry because you know, the behaviors that they did previously before did not give them the rewards that they were promised when they were younger. So what is going to stop me from not being manipulative, narcissistic, horrible person to the rest of society, right? You know, when people feel distraught, they feel like they're not winning or getting rewarded for anything in life, people are just going to act in different ways in order for them to kind of get that success, you know? So that's my kind of like thoughts and opinions on it. You know, what do I feel like should be a solution in order for us to get ahead in life? What I did recently, honestly, because I felt like I wasn't in the positions that I wanted to be at where I was currently in my life, and I just felt like nothing really mattered, or I was going through the same problems most other people had at the same time. I turned to religion. I understood that, you know, finding couple steps that really helped me a lot. One was just finding like a positive community, a bunch of people to kind of hang out with that gives you purpose to kind of want to move forward. And then two, finding some form of religion in order for you to feel like the pressure and the weight needs to get lifted off of your shoulders in order to kind of go through life and go through just how fucked up this world is. I mean, there'll be more videos where I'll be talking about other different types of topics as well. And they're probably going to be a little bit better laid out in terms of like scripting and stuff like that. But that's kind of just my 2 cents of what I have currently going on. Just what I've noticed in general, just in 2026. People are just way more narcissistic. They don't really give a shit as much. You know, inflation is exceptionally high. And you see all these decent people and like how it is in the world, right? Like they just get fucked over by all these manipulative, evil people, narcissistic people who are willing to take advantage and capitalize, you know. And then I have opinions on capitalism too as well. You know, it's a decent system. It's the best system that we've had so far, but there's a lot of pros and cons and trade-offs. You know, I mean, obviously I would take capitalism over communism any day, but understanding these dynamics and where things are in this society, you know, you have to figure out some way to orientate yourself. As Peterson says in the book I'm reading right now, which is Maps of Meaning, you must orientate yourself and find a belief system that works with you in order for you to become the person that you would want to become and understanding that pathway. So, like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video, it's a little bit off the cuff. It's kind of a little bit rushed, to be honest. But yeah, like and subscribe. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I read almost every comment that's on my YouTube videos for the last 10 years. Please give me your ideas and thoughts on what you guys think. I'm very, very curious on the state of society. That's always been something of a focus of mine. And yeah, if you like any future other videos that'll be coming out, please hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.